and Bonny, the rebel of the high seas. And Bonny stands as one of the most remarkable women in pirate history, a fiery, fearless figure who defied the rigid gender roles of her time. Born in Ireland around 1700 and raised in the American colonies, Bonny exhibited a rebellious nature from an early age. After marrying a poor sailor named James Bonny, she disowned her family and moved to the pirate haven of Nassau in the Bahamas. There, she encountered a new world, one ruled by outlaws, where her bold spirit would truly come alive. In Nassau, and met the notorious pirate Calico Jack Rackham, and the two quickly became inseparable. She joined Rackham's crew, disguising herself as a man to participate in raids, battles, and plunder. What set Bonny apart was not just her presence on a pirate ship, but her undeniable prowess in combat. Witnesses claimed she fought like a fury, often outmatching the male pirates beside her. Bonny's closest companion during this time was Mary Red, another woman disguised as a man who had similarly joined the crew. The duo earned both fear and respect among their comrades. However, their reign was short-lived. In 1720, their ship was captured by a pirate hunter commissioned by the governor of Jamaica. As the male pirates cowered in the hold, Bonny and Reed fought valiantly on deck before being overpowered. Both women pleaded pregnancy to delay execution. Mary Red died in prison, and Bonny's fate remains unclear. Some say she escaped, others claim her wealthy father pulled strings to spare her. No definitive record exists of her execution. Henry Every, the ghost of the seas. Henry Every, also known as Long Ben, remains one of the most enigmatic figures in piracy. Active for only 2 years in the 1690s, Every pulled off what is considered the most profitable pirate raid in history. After mutinying and taking command of a ship intended for the Spanish fleet, he and a coalition of pirates attacked the Ganges Sawaya, a massive Mogul trading ship. The battle was bloody, but the reward was astronomical, an estimated $143 million in today's value. Every became the subject of the first global manhunt. Governments from England to India sought his capture, placing a large bounty on his head. Despite leads and rumors, he was never found. He vanished without a trace, fueling endless speculation. Some believe he died in obscurity, others claim he lived out his life in luxury under a false identity. Every's legacy is that of the phantom pirate, rich, elusive, and forever a mystery. Captain William Kidd, the privateer turned pirate. William Kidd, famously known as Captain Kidd, is remembered as one of the most unusual and ironically comedic figures in pirate history. Initially a respected privateer, Kidd operated under the authorization of the English crown, tasked with hunting down pirates and attacking enemy vessels. Between 1695 and 1698, he sailed the seas as a legal pirate, serving both England and its American colonies. However, a fateful encounter in 1696 with a naval yacht, which he failed to salute, marked the beginning of his downfall. When fired upon as a warning, Kidd mockingly responded by slapping his cheeks in defiance. The Navy retaliated by drafting most of his crew into service, leaving Kidd undermanned and vulnerable. His leadership style soon gained notoriety. Kidd was known for being a harsh and temperamental captain. In one grim episode, after a disagreement over attacking a passing ship, Kidd killed a crew member by smashing a steel bucket onto his head. The turning point in his career came with the capture of the Quebec Merchant, a ship laden with valuable cargo, but under English protection. This act labeled Kidd a pirate, and by 1699, he was a wanted man. He was eventually captured, tried, and sentenced to death. Kidd's execution in 1701 was bizarre. When he was first hanged, the rope snapped, and he fell dazed to the ground. Many spectators believed it was a divine sign and pleaded for his life. But the execution proceeded, and he was successfully hanged on the second attempt, then gibbeted for public display. Stede Bonnet, the gentleman who played pirate. Born into a wealthy English family in Barbados, Bonnet had no financial need to turn to piracy. Instead, he was motivated by adventure. Lacking any nautical experience, Bonnet commissioned the construction of his own ship, the Revenge, and hired a crew of 70 men whom he paid wages rather than splitting loot, a highly unusual practice among pirates. His inexperience soon became apparent, earning him little respect among his men. Nevertheless, Bonnet experienced early success, capturing 8 ships along the eastern seaboard. A disastrous encounter with a Spanish man-of-war left him injured and diminished his crew. Retreating to the Bahamas, Bonnet encountered and teamed up with the infamous Blackbeard, leading to a brief but productive alliance. Bonnet later accepted King George's Act of Grace, a pardon for pirates, but resumed piracy under a different name, thinking he could deceive authorities. He was captured, escaped custody, but was recaptured and hanged. Bonnet remains a fascinating anomaly, a gentleman who quite literally tried to buy his way into piracy. Bartholomew Roberts, the pirate king of efficiency. Bartholomew Roberts, better known as Blackbeard, stands as one of the most successful pirates in maritime history. Born in Wales, Roberts entered the pirating scene in 1719 and, over just 3 years, captured more than 400 ships across the Americas and West Africa. Roberts is also credited with popularizing the infamous skull and crossbones flag, which he hoisted on his flagship, the Royal Fortune, moments before launching attacks. He established a formal pirate code that dictated strict discipline aboard his vessels. According to his rules, theft among crew members and desertion during battle were punishable by marooning, a death sentence for most. Despite his success, Roberts met his end on February 10, 1722. A British warship engaged his fleet, and Roberts was struck in the throat by a fatal shot early in the battle. Honoring his wish to be buried at sea, his crew wrapped his body in sailcloth, weighed it down, and consigned him to the ocean depths. Charles Vane, the menace of the Caribbean. Charles Vane is remembered not for strategic brilliance or amassed wealth, but for his unrelenting cruelty. Rising to prominence around 1717, Vane quickly earned a reputation as a ruthless interrogator and torturer of captured sailors. Vane's descent began when he encountered a French warship and chose to flee rather than fight. His crew, disgusted by what they saw as cowardice, deposed him. With only a handful of loyal men, Vane continued to pirate on a smaller scale until a storm shipwrecked him on a deserted island. After a month of survival, a passing vessel offered hope, but one of the sailors recognized him. He was arrested, transported to Jamaica, and executed by hanging. Like many others, Vane's body was gibbeted, a grisly reminder to would-be pirates. Edward Lowe, the butcher of the high seas. Few pirates match the barbarity of Edward, Ned Lowe. Emerging near the end of the golden age of piracy, Lowe's reign was defined not by fortune, but by fear. Orphaned early and shaped by a life of petty crime, Lowe eventually turned to piracy after a violent incident at sea. His rise was rapid, and so was the terror he unleashed. Lowe's atrocities are legendary, burning men alive, mutilating prisoners, creating torturous games out of cruelty, and regularly set ships ablaze with their crews tied aboard. After 3 years of savagery, Lowe disappeared in 1723. Theories abound: death at sea, marooned by his own crew, or retirement in Brazil. Blackbeard, the legend who defined piracy. Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, is the quintessential pirate. Towering and fearsome, Blackbeard cultivated an image of terror, braiding slow-burning fuses into his hair and beard, creating a demonic visage during battle. He emerged as a pirate leader in 1716, quickly establishing dominance along the eastern American seaboard and the Caribbean. His flagship, Queen Anne's Revenge, formerly La Concorde, became a symbol of dread, armed with 40 cannons. Blackbeard's most infamous act was the blockade of Charleston, South Carolina, where he captured 9 ships and held citizens for ransom in exchange for medicine. His end came in November 1718 during a fierce battle with British naval forces. Outnumbered and outgunned, Blackbeard fought to the death, sustaining over 25 stab wounds and 5 gunshots before falling. His head was severed and displayed as a warning to others. Though his pirating career was brief, Blackbeard's influence remains unmatched, immortalized in legend, feared in life, and revered in history. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to discuss it or suggest new ideas, feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content. See you in the next one.